Island. My name is Lisa and this is my gardening channel, Growing on Vancouver Island. Tonight we are doing something I have never done live before, and that is taste testing flowers. I started taste testing edible flowers in my garden last summer when I realized there are many edible flowers out there and I hadn't really tasted them before. So today I decided I was going to do a live edible flower taste test. I didn't want to edit the video, I wanted to do it in real time for you. So let's do it. We're focusing primarily on roses today. There might be a few other flowers mixed in, but mostly roses. I've tried a couple of these before, but we're getting into lots of varieties I haven't tried either, and it's been a year since I've eaten roses, so let's begin. Right here, this is my knockout rose. And I want to preface the flower tasting to do your own research if you're gonna. Hi Willow, we're tasting flowers this evening. And I want to preface this video saying if you're going to taste flowers, do your own research. Make sure you're comfortable with the knowledge you have that flowers are edible. I know myself, I do a lot of research. I don't do this without researching what is edible and what is not. So make sure you're comfortable with what you're trying to eat, that you have enough knowledge. So let's begin. These are knockout roses, and what I've learned about flower tasting is that you actually ideally want to go for the younger looking blooms. Let me give you a better look at the plant. So blooms like this, I mean, technically they're edible, but you want to go for the more younger, more tender looking blooms that haven't been open for very long. So I'm going to target this one here, or yeah, let's go for that one. Why not? It's been open for a little while, but just give it a little trim. There we go. Put you back on the tripod. Hello, the dancing goalie. We are just embarking on our flower tasting journey. So happy you could join us tonight. I'm about to taste test this rose. So it would be a mouthful to eat the whole thing at once. I'm going to eat a few petals at a time. I have taste tested roses before, not all these varieties, but we're getting right into my rose garden today and testing the flowers. And what I learned in last season tasting roses is that different flower colors and varieties have very different flavors, and that's why I'm all about going through my whole garden and tasting the roses. Thank you very much. So let's get into this. Here's a few petals. Oh yeah, this is a good one. I can't remember if I tried it last season. It's got a mildly sweet flavor. Yeah, it's pretty good. I would put this in a salad for sure. I didn't do that last season, but I truly think I'm going to do it this season. These are so delicious. I'm going to have a little drink of water, and I'm actually going to eat more of this because this is really good. Hello, Philip, James, Eulilia, Hollis, holy smokes, there's lots of you here. Welcome to my flower tasting on Vancouver Island. This is a knockout rose, double pink, and we're gonna eat some more because it is so delicious. Highly recommend. Gotta add some olive oil. I've never tried cooking these. So far on my edible flower tasting journey, I've only been eating raw flowers. But I've heard certain flowers are really good deep fried. Yes, this is the flower, Abby. It is a double pink knockout rose, and it is delicious. And just for everyone who's new here, definitely do your research before eating flowers, but there are many edible flowers out there. I'm probably going to eat this whole thing. It is so good. Mildly sweet. This would be so good in a summer salad with your lettuces, your kales. Maybe mix in a little bit arugula. I wouldn't do anything racial. That doesn't seem very Well, that's not nice. Don't do it. Hello, Emily. Welcome to my edible flower taste test. This is a double pink knockout rose, and it's delicious. We're going to be trying multiple varieties of roses. Hello, Alvin, Preppy Skincare Girly, Almies, Colorful Flowers, Jacob Perdaz. There are so many people here. Welcome to my flower tasting journey. Vadness 2646. Is it thorough? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but very good rose. We will taste more flowers, but I want to eat a little bit more before we move on. Eating flowers with liquor would be fun. I've never tried that, but that is an interesting point. That would be interesting for sure. Michael, greetings. Oil it up. I don't have any olive oil with me. That does sound like a good idea though. This particular rose has no fragrance and it doesn't taste floral. It's like a very mildly sweet flavor. And it almost gives me the essence of lettuce in like a sweet way, but a good way. It's really, really delicious. I would definitely put this in a salad. And the good news is I have a lot of these, so I can be making a lot of salads with these flowers, and that is going to be so delicious. Cannot wait. I've done this with tulips and pansies, were also edible flowers. I've been eating a lot of them this season. So I'm not going to waste this flower. I'm going to finish the flower, and then we're going to move on to another rose that I've got growing, and we're going to compare the taste. Yes, flowers on salad are so delicious. Many people have heard of nasturtiums, but many, many other flowers are actually edible. So do your research, but be adventurous. There are a lot of edible flowers out there. Save it for a snack later. Well, I do have lots, so I think I'm going to finish this one, and then we're going to move on. So if I was to go up to someone and be like, I eat flowers, I have gone up to people and told them I eat flowers, and I've showed them my salads at work, and they are super interested. Okay, let's move on to rose number 2. Danielle the Incredible, welcome. I will take you with me. We are moving down in the garden to another rose to nibble on. Now this rose I have not eaten before, so this is going to be really interesting. You see the one in the background, but we're going for the one in the foreground here. This rose right here. Put my drink down. I'll give you a better look at the rose before we start eating it. Mom used to eat flowers also. Very cool. This rose here, this is called Nicole. I believe this is a Floribunda type rose. I see a spider on it, so we may end up eating some spiders. Probably not. We're going to go for probably the one up here. Super beautiful. And yeah, we're just going to dive right in and see how this one compares to the knockout rose we just ate. I've got my clippers here. No, I don't. I got to get the clippers. Try not to go too fast and make you guys dizzy. But let's clip this rose and give it a taste test. Whoopsie daisies. Now, I will inspect it for insects only because I don't want to get bitten by anything inside the rose before I eat it. There it is. Put it back. Put you guys back on the tripod. Oh, the ground is not level here. We got to be a little careful. So here we have the rose. This is a completely different rose than the last one. Flowers dipped in chocolate. Oh my God, I never even thought about that. That is such a good idea. I haven't even seen other people do that before. Now, I'm not gonna lie, they're actually, I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera, there are tiny, tiny, tiny little bugs in here. Now, personally, that doesn't bother me. There are people that might be like, oh, you know, you got to be really careful. You might catch a disease. And I mean, that is possible, but I'm willing to take the risk. To me, it's probably just a tiny bit of extra protein. I'm willing to go take a little bit of a risk with the bugs. Hello, Howie. We are tasting flowers live this evening. Yes, I don't know. I'm going to try to get closer. There are the tiniest little bugs in here. I'm going to try to avoid them, but if I do happen to eat one, I'm not too concerned about it. To be honest, probably everyone has eaten a bug or two in their life, maybe more without even knowing it. So let's do this. Let's give this one a taste test. We've got a few petals here and go for it. Very interesting. Honestly, it doesn't taste that different than the first one, which I'm kind of surprised because when I did this last summer, I found there to be quite a difference in flavor. But this time, this rose doesn't really taste that different than my knockout rose. Try the thorns. No, we're not trying thorns. I'm not trying to. This isn't a live end my life stream. We're not doing that. No, thank you. Yeah, this one really doesn't taste that different than the one I just ate. And I'm actually not going to eat more of this only because of the bugs. It doesn't bother me, but at the same time, I don't need to eat the bugs, so we'll just move on to more flowers. Gonna have a drink. Parasites are no joke. That is true. Yeah, that is true, Howie. I mean, I don't know if I ate any of those little bugs. I was trying to avoid them, so hopefully not, but I don't need to finish the flower. It does taste very similar to the knockout rose, so we will move on to another flower. And so do you want to do another rose next, or should we try a different flower? What do you guys think? What if a caterpillar is pooping in it? Well, to be honest, I've been eating from my vegetable garden for a lot of years, and I don't always wash the produce, so it's very possible I could have already eaten caterpillar poop or slug poop or sludge. It's definitely not impossible. Hello, May. Hello, Blizz Red. Hello, Abby again. I mean, fertilizer is just poop. Absolutely it is. And there could be some nutritional benefits to that. I don't really know. I think we're going to mix things up. There are more roses to taste, but I have a few other flowers we can taste too, just for a little variety. And we're going to go for the bachelor's button next. We're going to move to a slightly different spot in the garden, and I'll show you some bachelor's buttons, and then we're going to taste them. This is one I've never tried before. I've grown it in my garden for many years, but I didn't really know it was edible until I started researching it, and it definitely is. Bachelor's button right here, this blue, oh, you guys can't see it. The blue flower. That is an edible flower, and we're going to give it a try. So, I'll put my drink down. And let's see how this one tastes. This reminds me of the Goosebumps episode, Stay Out of the Basement with a Plant. That's funny. I read some of the Goosebumps series. I don't really remember it that well, but I don't recall that particular book. So now this one, I'm not sure. Sometimes when I do my flower taste test, I will eat the whole flower in one bite. And sometimes I do what I do with the roses, just a few petals. But I'm thinking I'm going to put the whole flower in my mouth this time. This is a big bite, but why not? Let's give it a try. I don't actually see any insects on this, slugs. I don't see any wildlife here, so let's do it. Oh my goodness. This is so good. It has almost the essence of honey in this flavor. So delicious. I want to suck on the nectar. I feel like a bumblebee right now. So good. I took this off because this is like the middle part, and it's very, very tough, but the petals are good. But really, really like, honey sweet, very good, this flower. Wish I had tried it sooner, actually. I think these would be really delicious in like a cake, or like in a top of a shortbread cookie or something like that. It's a beautiful day on the island. Yes, this was a total winner. I like the roses, but this so far tonight has been my favorite. The Bachelor's Button. So delicious. Let's take a drink. I also drink both, mostly to cleanse my palate, so I'm trying not to mix my flavors. But I do think that flower would be so good in a dessert. It had just that essence of sweetness to it, like honey. Other good flowers I've tried for desserts, we won't try them today because I don't have any, but the peach tree flower and the plum tree flower are so good. You could put them in a dessert and they would just be like so good. And with, I think it was Blitz Red might have suggested the chocolate, or somebody suggested chocolate. And I can absolutely see those two flowers covered in chocolate. I didn't try it, but I think like a chocolatier should try something like that. That would be so delicious. So next we are going back to the roses. There are more roses to try. Actually, yeah, we're gonna try a rose and then we're coming back to the slope for another flower test. Oh my gosh, that was good. Hello, Spirit in the Sky. We are taste testing flowers live this evening. We've done 2 roses and a Bachelor's Button, and so far the Bachelor's Button by far has been the best flower of the evening. It was so delicious. It tasted like honey actually. So that was a nice treat. And next we have another rose to try. Just gonna get my clippers. Now this rose is the Snow Pavement Rose, and if you saw my recent live stream that said I hoard plant tags, this rose was supposed to be white. It was advertised as white and it ended up being pink. So that is kind of interesting. I have never tasted this particular variety before, so I'm super curious if this is going to taste different than the last 2 roses or about the same. We're going to give it a try. Uh-oh, my water is spilling. Okay, let's do this. Going to pick one that is fairly young. We don't want a super ripe rose to eat. I'm observing bugs here too, but that's okay. We're still going to do it. We'll just be careful. I think I'm actually going to pick this one, which is hardly open, but I'm doing that on purpose because supposedly this is a safer thing to do when you're tasting flowers, is going for the young ones. And actually, I only see one little bug in here compared to some of the other ones that have more than one, so we're going for a young bloom. So we're going to grab a few petals and give them a taste test. I don't necessarily want to eat the stamen. I've tried that on some flowers. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. So we're just going for petals right now. Oh, okay. This is interesting. It's not that different than the Knockout or the rose called Nicole that we tried, but it is slightly sweeter, I must say, in a good way, but only on a subtle level. Yeah, it's pretty good. Probably would put this one in a salad, but could even put it in a dessert. Oh my goodness, this would be so beautiful as a cake topper. Put this around like a beautiful, I don't know, vanilla frosting and have this on top. Maybe coat some of these or dip them in chocolate. That would be so gorgeous and edible. I wish I was a cake decorator, but I'm not. I'm not good with making food pretty. So on Malkanin Island, we have 29 variations of lilacs. I should taste them all. Yes, absolutely. I have read lilac flowers are edible. I haven't tried them yet. That is absolutely. Can you smoke them? Do you mean smoke the roses? I am not sure. I have never smoked anything in my life. I've never smoked a cigarette. I have never smoked a vaping machine. I have never touched anything with smoke, and I'll tell you why. I'm actually super allergic to smoke, so that's the main reason I have never touched anything related to smoke, but I don't know the answer to your question. I am from Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada. And next, we're going back to the slope and we have another flower to taste test. And honestly, this flower has made me the most nervous. I have researched this flower, but I still sometimes get nervous with certain flowers, but let's go do it. I will show you what we're doing next. It's not a rose, it's something else. So we are back on the slope here, and I'm going to turn the camera around and show you the flower that we're gonna sample next. I'm just putting my water bottle down, and then I'll show you the blooms before I pick some. So these pink flowers that you're seeing in the distance, this is dianthus, also known as a carnation. And these are supposed to be edible. And I have done my research, but for some reason, ooh, this is kind of gross. Check it out. No idea what's going on here, but something strange is happening. Hello, Alvin. We are taste testing flowers today. And yeah, I'm just gonna pick a few and give them a try. These do make me nervous. I feel like they shouldn't be edible, but yet apparently they are. So we will give it a try. And I'll just put the tripod back on so you can see. Oops, I'm making you dizzy. The tripod is having issues. Those are pretty. Yes, they're gorgeous flowers. These little dianthus blooms. I think I picked a couple of them here. So we're going to give those a try and see how this goes. The last time I got nervous before tasting a flower, it was the California poppy. I did an edited video. Let's just say that didn't, the outcome wasn't good. So we'll see what, we'll see what this brings. Honestly, not a lot of flavor compared to everything else I've been eating. I'm gonna try this one and just for another test, but I would say it's really poor, not poor flavor, but like so mild you hardly even notice it. Oh, oh, interesting. Oh yeah, oh my gosh. There is a technique to this. Okay, this is interesting. So what I did differently the second time is I took a little bit of like this part, I don't know if that's the stamen or what that is. There was like an infused bit of honey in this little tiny bit here, and I didn't get that in the first bite. So that's where the flavor was. A little bit of sweetness washed over the flavor, which was really nice. But without that, it's kind of flavorless. So that's kind of interesting. The carnation flower is good if you get that little piece in the middle. She's a goat, maybe part goat. Hello, Alvin. I might have said hello already. There might have been more than one Alvin here, I feel like. You can wash the flowers as well to get rid of the bugs, as you say. Yeah, I could. What I find when I wash flowers, or other vegetables, but particularly flowers though, is that they tend to wilt more than if you don't wash them, and I kind of want to preserve the texture. I'm a really big texture person, not just with flowers, but with literally every food. I have a little bit of a diminished taste sense ever since I caught the big COVID 3 years ago. My taste has never been the same. So texture is really important to me. I taste, but it's not like I used to taste. So I try to preserve the texture of foods when I can, because it means a lot to be able to taste the texture, which sounds weird, but it is a thing. Okay, next we're tasting a flower I have never tried, and this might surprise a lot of you that this is edible, but it absolutely is, and I'm kind of excited to give it a try actually. We are headed to another spot of the garden. And where should we go? There's lots of these available to try, so just a matter of picking which one we're going to eat. This is something I can guarantee if you have a lawn, I shouldn't guarantee, but there's a high probability if you have a lawn in your garden, you probably have these flowers growing. So let's take a look at the flowers first. Oopsie daisies. I just pressed a button. There we go. These here are clover flowers, and these are edible. Yes, dandelions are edible. I did that in my previous taste testing video, but today we're testing the clover flower. And which one should I go for? Let's see. This one isn't very open. Maybe we'll try this one first. I'll pick a couple. Okay. See how this goes. Clover has me intrigued. Honestly, when I think of eating clover, I feel like a bunny rabbit because I feel like this is what the bunnies would be doing. So let's give it a try. These little white flowers. Oh. Okay. That's an interesting flavor and an interesting texture. I will say this isn't very good overall. It's not my thing. I do honestly feel like a rabbit when I'm eating this. Like the texture, or like you said, goat earlier, definitely feeling like a goat when I'm eating this one. This isn't a good flower. There's nothing really good about it. It's not terrible, but it's by no means tasty. It's not sweet. The texture does taste like you're eating grass or some similar material. I'll eat some more, but that is slightly better, but overall still not a good choice. I wouldn't do this one again. There's no point. It's not going to harm you, but it's not good. Good night, Earthlings. Sure was fun. Yes, it was. Good night, Howie. And next, we are heading into another region of the garden. We have a few more flowers to taste test. And the next one is actually a rose of a very different variety. So I'm really interested to see if this is going to have quite a different flavor. So off we go to a different region of the garden. Now this rose is kind of an orangey color, so it's very different than the pinks that we've tried, and I'm super interested to see how this is going to taste. Going through the gate here. So, I have a question for all of you lovely viewers. Has anyone in the chat ever tasted a flower? I think Howie has, and he's gone. Has anybody else in the chat ever done a flower tasting? I'm going to guess not, but people surprise me all the time, so it is possible that one of you lovely individuals has tried a flower before. Oh, this is interesting. I saw these flowers earlier today and they looked more orange, and now they look yellow. Let's take a gander at these flowers right here. These are my Morden Sunrise Roses, and we're gonna give them a taste test. Now my logic tells me I should probably pick this one because it doesn't look very open. Still here, I eat flowers every day. Not minty. I have eaten a few. What have you eaten, Spirit in the Sky? I wonder what the aliens think of us running around with little devices everywhere and talking to ourselves. I wonder too. Very good question. What do the aliens think of us? I would love to know the answer. But really, have you considered that there probably are aliens among us? That's a very strong possibility. So think about that. Next, we're going to pick this flower and give it a taste test. I'm really interested in this one. Okay, I sort of butchered it, but we got it. And just move things a little bit. Okay, so here we go. It got butchered in my clipping by hand, but let's try it out. Oh, this is a good rose. There is lots of sweetness here. Much better than all of the pink roses in the backyard. So good. Yeah, this is highly rated. This is second to Bachelor's Buttons. Very delicious. Beautiful Hay, stop eating flowers. She says, no, I'm a rabbit. Yeah, our family friend Jim basically says that MIB is exactly how it is. They are everywhere and we just don't know where to look. I agree, they probably are everywhere and we don't know where to look. Well, you guys, I think I've done enough flower tasting for tonight. I do have more edible flowers that I've already tried, but I don't need to show you the taste testing again. So thank you so much. Hello, Barb. After what I've seen on my roses, I'd be afraid to pick them off and then plant them and eat them. You're brave. Well, thank you. Hello and welcome. My flower tasting is over for the evening, but thank you for stopping in. If you want to watch the replay, I encourage you to. It's been quite an interesting culinary adventure. No, I was like, do I have another flower to show you? Yes, I do. I just remembered there's one more flower we can look at in the back garden. Let's go back to the back. Sometimes I have to try to remember exactly what the edible flowers are. Like I have a mental list of edible flowers that I've tried, that I haven't tried, but I don't always remember exactly what they are. So I'm in my brain, I'm trying to refresh my memory, like you refresh the browser of your computer. So we're going to do one more edible flower taste test, unless I think of something else on the way back to the backyard garden. But I can think of one more off the top of my head, so we're going to try that out. And see how it tastes. We're headed into the vegetable garden now for something that is got flowers up there that we haven't tried. Do I have a dragon fruit? I have a dragon fruit cactus, but honestly, it's almost dying. No, I don't have a real dragon fruit that is producing at the moment. So, I will put you guys down for a minute. And, oh, now that I think, I do have more flowers to taste. I just remembered. Now that we're back here. Lots of flowers here. I have been eating these ones, so I'm not sure if anyone wants to see a replay of that, but we are tasting a marigold flower. Right here, we're gonna go for this one. And we'll just put the tripod down again and see how this is going to taste. So this is a marigold, and let's give it a taste test. Oh. Very interesting. First I taste sweet, and then I taste almost floral. And I don't know, there's some other taste that I can't put my finger on, but it's a good taste. Very intriguing, this flavor. Really like it, actually. It's kind of, I wouldn't call it strong, but it's got like almost a little bit of boldness to it. It's not at all mellow. Very good, actually. I would definitely put these in salads. I might even just eat some more raw, because why not? And you show if you want. I don't have my dragon fruit. It is dying. Like, it's a cactus and it is literally dying, and it's like this big because it got too much rain recently. So it's not really anything to look at for the most part. I do have one more rose in the front garden that I didn't show you guys, and we didn't try it. So we could go back and do that. It's a white rose, actually. So I think we will do that. I'm gonna take a drink first. Yes, we are going for my white Mayland rose. We could eat some rose. We could eat some flowers that I've already tried if you're interested. I don't know if that's interesting to people or not, but I can show you a flower along the way that I have tried before, but you guys probably haven't seen it. So, whoopsie daisies, my water just spilled. Let's do that. This is a purple flower, and it is definitely edible, and many of you will probably know what it is when I tell you. This here is creeping phlox, and yes, it is edible. Let's have some. It is quite the flavor, actually, on these flowers. Right here, here's a little creeping phlox bloom. It's so adorable. No, it's not creeping phlox. What am I saying? This is creeping thyme. Don't get confused. Creeping phlox is not edible. This is creeping thyme. Thyme is like a seasoning, like a herb. That is what it looks like when it blooms. There's many different varieties of creeping thyme, and creeping thyme is edible, not creeping phlox. Do not go eating creeping phlox, but do eat creeping thyme. If you want some flavor, you can put it in your cooking. I do that once in a while. You can eat it, the leaves, you can eat the flowers. It's all delicious. Lots of different varieties of this, and they are edible. But still, do your research, confirm that for yourself. But it is a good flower to eat, and it tastes just like the seasoning, thyme. If you like thyme, you will like creeping thyme. So next, we are going back to the front garden to eat the white rose. Okay, let's do it. You could make the most beautiful salad. Absolutely. I did that with spring flowers. I'll show you some more flowers that are edible. Pansies. I've eaten so many of these this year. And the interesting thing with pansies that I learned from one of my previous tests is that pansy flowers, all the different colors, most of them taste exactly the same. Now, roses, I've learned some of them taste pretty similar and some of them taste different. So kind of depends. And snapdragons are similar too. You get different flavors with different colors. But we're trying another rose now. And it is my white Mayland rose. Okay. This one, my flowers aren't that open, so I'm just gonna pick like they're not very open yet, but I've got the flower here, and we're just gonna kind of eat the immature flower buds. I think she can't eat food, and that's why she eats flowers. I just recently discovered that flowers were edible, but I've been eating more and more as I go on my flower tasting journey. I've eaten a lot of kale flowers, pansy flowers, tulip flowers this season, and I'll only be eating more as the season progresses. So here we have the white Mayland rose flower. Let's see how it tastes. Pretty mild, actually. Not bland, but It's pretty much like the knockout roses, but on a milder scale. Kind of interesting, and I just noticed there are bugs. I probably ate some. Hopefully that's okay. And I think now that concludes my flower tasting of the evening. There will be more as the season progresses. I'll do another live with my snapdragons and many other flowers that are just about to start blooming now, but they're not quite in season yet. So probably in a few weeks, there maybe less than that, there will be another live flower tasting for the YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me on my little culinary adventure, and we will see you soon in another video. Have a lovely day, evening, or night, wherever you are. Bye-bye.